I want to thank you for calling that motherfucking father of yours. And when he arrives, give him my worst regards and tell him I'll be waiting for him.
That's trash.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of That's Cool, That's Trash, the podcast where we watch a psychotronic movie online, then get together on Skype to break down the crazy. I'm Matt Howell.
I'm Kyle.
Something happened? Do you lose me?
Yes.
Sorry. And I'm Scott.
And we are, we're going to... That's such a good start to a show.
Oh my goodness.
So we're discussing the 1974 film Abby. This is, for us, a bit of a redo because we have kind of a lost episode. So we attempted to do a podcast about this earlier, but that didn't work out, so we're doing that again.
Again, sorry.
So, Abby is a film from the genre that is known as blaxploitation. And in case you don't know much about blaxploitation, I'll give a real brief kind of overview of it. It started around 1970 when Melvin Van Peebles funded, produced, wrote, directed, starred, and scored his film Sweetback's Badass Song. And it was done on a very small budget. It was very controversial. It dealt with race issues and politics and civil rights and that kind of stuff. And it was a huge hit, made a lot of money. The studios paid attention to that. They realized there was a lack, the Hollywood system, the studio system was inherently kind of racist, just the way the society is racist, so there weren't films being made by black people or for black, or at least definitely not for black people. So they followed that up with Shaft, which is just, incidentally guys, I didn't mention this, Shaft was not written as a black film. They were talking to Steve McQueen about being Shaft. They talked to I forget who the other person was, but there were other people up for Shaft that weren't black, so it had nothing to do with blackness. It was
probably Telly Savalas, because
it was just
the 70s.
That makes sense. It was just a detective story.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, so it became black once Richard Roundtree was cast and Isaac Hayes did the soundtrack, and then that was one of the biggest, most popular films of this genre. So then you get Superfly with Ron O'Neal, and these are the first kind of big three tentpoles of this whole genre. And this is like from 1970 to 1973 that these things are starting. Then people start churning them out more and more, and then some white directors are making them, and then it kind of gets oversaturated. Some people would argue that the films were poorly made in quality, just in general, from the get-go, except for Shaft and a couple other big budget, big studio things. And then it just kind of petered out and kind of fell in on itself and never really recovered. And then until Quentin Tarantino saw it, I guess. So, and just one more note, we discussed this previously, but blaxploitation is a term that is kind of contentious. Some people feel that it's negative and it denigrates the work, and if you say blaxploitation, it sounds sleazy and trashy, and you would be hard pressed to say that Sweetback's Badass Song or some of these other kind of more revolutionary films were they're not trash. They're not meant to be titillating or just kind of sleazy, but a lot of them were. A lot of them were just being made to. They were saying, we're going to give the audience what they want. No one's making films for this. These people, so we're doing it. We're going to make them fun.
It's almost like they were exploiting them.
So, I guess blaxploitation is a portmanteau that was coined by a member of the NAACP. There were several groups that rose up and were protesting these films because they thought that they portrayed African Americans in a negative light. Like when Superfly, when Priest, the character Priest, he's a pimp, drug dealer, who is an anti-hero of the story, that I can understand why people would be upset about. This is the movie, this is the black image that's being put out there. We don't care for this. So it was black people that coined the term blaxploitation, saying they're exploiting our people, and
I just made that connection now. blaxploitation, exploitation. Jeez.
And anyway, so as with any genre, there's some really classics that came out in the beginning, and then there's some middling efforts, and then there's some Drek, and we're going to watch some Drek. The film, the great thing about blaxploitation is that it covered all genres. There are westerns, there are kung fu movies, there are spy movies. I mean, if you could think of it, it's got it. But the hallmarks of a blaxploitation movie are obviously a black cast, a black point of view in the narrative, an amazing soundtrack, right? I mean, I've never seen a blaxploitation movie that had a bad soundtrack, or maybe that's just my personal opinion. There's often excessive violence, and there's often gratuitous nudity or sex. And those are kind of the hallmarks. And as I was mentioning, that they cover all the different genres of film, and they also did horror. So there was Blackula was very popular, followed up by Scream, Blackula, Scream, and then there was Mr. Black or Dr. Black and Mr. White, Blackenstein, and
Dr. Black and Mr. White, I assume, is Jekyll and Hyde.
Yes.
Nice.
And the one we're going to talk about is Abby, which is also known. It might have been screened under this name, the Blaxorcist. So at that point, they were just slapping that onto anything they could. But this film was modeled after the huge popularity of 1972's The Exorcist. So they did a kind of a black version of it. So it's a little sleazy, and this is kind of exploitative. It ran for a couple weeks in theaters, and then the studio that produced The Exorcist slapped an injunction on them, and it quietly disappeared. And it's remained pretty obscure. Most of the 35mm prints were destroyed. I think that the copy you see on YouTube, or if you buy a DVD now, would probably be from a 16mm one that survived, like an airplane copy or something.
We don't recommend that you do that, by the way.
No. I don't. So thanks for letting me blather on there about that stuff, but I just wanted to set this up for anybody that didn't get a chance to see it. Take The Exorcist, take funky black stuff, and then shove them together, and that's what you're going to get here.
Nice summary there. That was really well done.
Very good.
Very
nice.
I think it's also worth mentioning that that Abby is directed by William Girdler, who is a white guy. He was known for doing sort of those like quick and dirty, I think the term is mocksploitation, mockbuster. Does that sound right? Where there's a blockbuster and then you come in and make a quick rip off of this.
Yeah, like Transmorphers today.
Yeah.
Tricking grandmas everywhere.
And it's kind of a sad note, but it is worth mentioning that he was really good at making these quick and dirty movies. And as soon as he got a chance to make his own feature starting from scratch, as soon as he finished that, he actually passed away at age 30 in a helicopter crash coming back from the production of that movie. So I'd bring us down a little bit before we got started here.
I did not know that.
That is weird.
Cool. So let's dive into Abby.
Let's do it.
Yes, please.
So just as far as like notable people in this film, Kyle named William Girdler as a director. The film stars Carol Speed as Abby, the title character, and she was in The Mac, The Big Birdcage, Disco Godfather, Dynamite Brothers, several other films. Black Samson. And it also stars William Marshall, who played Blackula, and he had a long and respected career before he did some blaxploitation films, so he's kind of a name, I guess. But excuse me. So let's move on. Let's get to the nitty gritty.
All right.
Sounds good.
So Abby is a story about a young pure Christian girl who becomes possessed by a demon. The demon of it's a god, isn't it? The god of sexuality.
Yeah.
Eshu is an Orisha, which is like a deity.
Yeah.
So Aisha is released by her father-in-law, and this deity is really upset at being released for some reason and decides to take over Abby's body excuse me, Abby has a couple of fits as she is slowly losing herself to the demon. As the demon grows stronger, he's taking over and turning Abby into an overtly, aggressively sexual young lady. She becomes, ultimately possessed, and the only person that can save her is her father-in-law, who is Bishop Garnet Williams. And he returns from Africa to exorcise the demon.
Yeah. That was a good,
that's
a good recap.
Okay.
Perfect.
So the film starts off, we get to see Abby and her husband, Emmett. That's his name, right?
Yep.
The church has bought them a new home, or the church has bought a home and they're allowed to live in it while he's the minister of the church, or something to that effect. So they're moving in, and it's a happy thing. This is setting up here's how great everything is right now kind of thing. And I believe we have a clip there where Abby is talking with her mom who's helping them move in.
It could sure stand some airing out, don't you think so?
Mm-hmm. It's kind of stale in here.
It sure is.
Junior, I thought you were going to open those windows in there.
I'm going to get it. Just give me time. Give me time.
He always wants time. Give me time. Give me time. You know?
That's him.
Oh, but Mama, you know what? Now I can make a real home for Emmett. You know, the kind he's going to be proud of.
I know what you mean, baby. But it ain't the size of the house that matters. It's the love that makes any place a home.
Well, I got plenty of that, Mama.
I know you have, babe. I know you have.
I would just like to refute that statement, though, that it's not the size of the house that matters. That's bullshit.
It's the motion in the ocean, right?
So things are going well. In the beginning, we meet, what is it called? Deacon Garnet, who?
Excuse me, Garnet Williams.
Garnet Williams. So we meet him, and he's talking with his students, and they're talking about how he's going to Nigeria to do some humanitarian work there, but also do some archaeological work and dig for artifacts around Eshu, because he teaches classes about divinity and other cultural or different religious beliefs, I guess. So they give him a giant crucifix, and then we meet Abby and her family.
But this crucifix is pretty awesome, though.
Well, yeah, I mean it's a Flava Flav crucifix.
It's totally.
So they've settled into the house. Abby's brother, Cass, comes over, and they're having a celebratory dinner. And I think we have a clip from there too.
Say, Emmett, is water the best you can do on a special occasion like this? I mean, couldn't you at least turn it into wine? Come on.
Lord, you see a satisfied man. A toast. To my loving family and our new home.
Can I mention something?
Please.
So this is the first sign that something goes wrong. As you probably have gleaned from the audio, the glass exploded. This happened because over in Nigeria, the deacon has found an ebony box that has the mark of Eshu on it, and he has a very large erect penis on the box. And once the deacon grasps the penis and twists it or pushes it down or just pulls it, I don't know, the whole thing opens up, and this mist and stuff flies out, and it's like a hurricane. I think that Eshu is also the god of storms or something too as well. If you look it up on Wikipedia, Eshu is the god of many, many, many things. So this is the first sign that Eshu has gone to the States and picked on his daughter-in-law for some reason.
Yeah.
So that's a sign that things are not going well.
It's fairly random sort of. I mean, she's a good person, but it's just travels across the world.
It's kind of like, yeah, it's kind of like, I mean, Scott, I mean, you guys are both comics fans, so you're probably familiar with this, but it's like, there's like a mathematical formula for like Spider-Man, who's my all-time favorite superhero. There's like this thing where it's like, if you know Peter Parker, or are related to Peter Parker, if you work with him, you are 25 to 75 times more likely to be a villain, or captured by a villain, or turned into a freak, or, I mean, it's just like knowing him is just kind of like, you're going to get sucked into these things. Obviously, it's because writers need to make stories up, and not everything can be random because it wouldn't be very interesting, but it turns kind of bizarre after a while. So it's kind of like, well, why her? Well.
Yeah. The nice thing is that they were able to, make her, it's a plot device that's also, expected because you're expecting it because the name of the movie, and it's also completely random.
Yeah.
So.
Maybe that's just the best person. Maybe Abby's the best person that Bishop Williams knows.
I like that.
And because of that, the demon's like, "Hey, I'm gonna pay you back for helping me out."
Do you think that he was like thinking, "Yeah, this is gonna be good. I'm the sex god. Boom, getting some Abby."
I have no idea. And as we discussed earlier, that
maybe he was being helpful.
Who knows why he is angry for being released from this prison that he was locked in? Maybe he liked it there. I don't know, but
cozy.
Very strange. So, Kyle, tell us a little bit about the when she's at church doing some prep work and the first sign that things are. Oh, are we getting out of order? What's the first sign?
So
it was the glass breaking, and then it was that night in bed. Abby's husband, wakes up to the wind.
Oh, you're right.
To the wind, everything's blowing around. Like he's like, "What the hell's going on?" And then it, like the wind, kind of possesses her, or something happens. I'm not exactly sure. Like, and then he's like, "What's going on?" And then she's like, "Oh, you woke me up to get busy. All right, it's a funny way to do it, saying that there's a ghost or whatever." and then
you're so good with accents. It's just a treat to be on the show.
Your impression is almost as good as Abby's impression of her uncle.
So Scott was right. That's what happens. So the wind blows through the house. I think a door opens or a window blows in or something like that, and they wake up, and that's the sign to the viewer that Eshu has entered the home. But they make the love, and then in the morning she gets in the shower and has a very erotic shower where she's grunting and kind of masturbating, and we assume it's off camera, and moaning and biting her lip or something.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
She's going animal, and it's weird. And then there's the shadow.
Oh, that's right.
I think that's the official possession.
Yes.
Like all of a sudden, this big Muppety. It kind of looks like a silhouette of Grimace from McDonald's. Takes her over.
Enters her from behind.
Yeah, totally.
In silhouette, and so she is officially possessed. So Kyle, tell us about the church the next day when she's prepping the chicken for frying.
So the next scene we see is Abby inside of the church. She's doing the dinner prep work. And she begins kind of carving and cutting up these chickens. And you're seeing from her point of view, she's doing her work. And then she notices that there's some blood on her hands. And she starts to kind of massage this blood around her hands. And her mom looks over and says, "Abby, pay attention. You're going to hurt yourself." And then we cut back to Abby's point of view again. And she keeps cutting on this chicken, and the blood is growing, and she actually starts gyrating, and she's licking her lips, and she's working herself into this completely over the top sexually aroused state. And just as she's about to climax, she takes the carving knife and stabs it into her forearm and starts cutting up towards her elbow. And needless to say, the mom sees this, screams, and it wakes Abby up, and Abby faints.
and just, I'd like to say, right up until the point where she's, cutting her arm or whatever, that's totally what happens when you butcher a chicken.
Yeah.
You get close to,
sexy.
It's
chicken.
Awesome.
Salmonella.
Sexy. That's my big concern there. That's the whole time I'm watching. I'm like, wash your hands.
Yeah.
Don't handle the rest of the food.
Yeah, it stressed me out.
Stresses me out.
So the doctor comes to see her, gives her some pills to sedate her, wraps her up, and he asks, has everything been okay? How's she been? And her husband says she's been fine. And then we get to see her at church. She's a singer in the choir. She sings a solo or whatever. She sings lead with the choir, and then her husband starts to preach, and Abby has an issue.
Dear Heavenly Father, hear us, we pray. Let our innermost thoughts fly with our voices up to you. Lord, we know that you can see into the darkest corners of our innermost hearts. Truly, Surely you in your infinite wisdom have chosen for us to receive your bounty as good stewards. The unexpected blessing of this new parsonage of our church will serve as an example to us all.
You'll be all right. Come on now.
Abby, stop it. Stop it. Stop it, Abby. Oh, my God, Emmett.
Yes. That's when we learned that Abby has both asthma and indigestion.
So, if you haven't had a chance to watch this film, you should. But what happened there is they kind of first of all, it goes on way too long. I can't believe her husband didn't stop preaching to help his wife, who's clearly choking to death. But so they're helping out into the back room off of the I don't know, the front of the church, and this
Church
guy
front.
who's the mortician named Russell, I think is his name, is trying to help her, and she elbows him, and he flies through a plate glass thing on a door, and then she goes out, runs out the door, and like kind of mounts him, like the way like if you have a big brother, they'd probably sit on you on your chest, and like kind of like hang spittle over your face and suck it back up, or like stop hitting yourself. She's kind of doing that when she's going, and she has white vomit just kind of dribbling out of her mouth. It's pretty gross.
Yeah, it's pretty gross,
but funny. Very
funny.
Scott, tell us what happens next, because I'm kind of lead us to another clip. Or
doesn't she? Let's see. Next, she goes. They take her back home. I can't remember what the next scene is. Kyle? How about you? Refresh me.
I do. Yeah. So the next scene that we should definitely talk about is. Emmett is realizing that something's going on. So he actually makes a phone call to his dad. He's trying to reach his dad in Africa and get some counsel on this. And he can't do that. He knows something's up with Abby. And one night he gets out of the shower and he sees Abby laying on the bed. And he's thinking like he'd like to have some more, man-wife time. And we actually have a nice little clip of this interaction here.
Oh, boy.
I am black and comely as the curtains of Solomon, O ye daughters of Jerusalem. Let me kiss thee with the kisses of my mouth, for thy love is better than wine.
What makes you call it love?
Abby,
I want to know why you call sex love. Just an animal lust, isn't it? I'm not your hoe.
Oh, come on, Abby.
Shit, you ain't got enough to satisfy me. You impotent son of a bitch!
Oh, that laugh creeps me out.
Yeah. That sounds like marriage. Right? That's like, all right, honey, maybe I'm gonna be nice to me and we could just, you could pretend you like it.
Instead of kicking me in the penis. The thing that I love most about that sound clip is how is this certain effect that the director uses over and over and over again. It's the this like feedback reverb effect, and he uses this as a transition. And at first I thought that was really cool, but by the end of the movie you will hear this so many times it will actually lose its cool.
That might be true.
Yes, I agree with you.
So Emmett's concerned, and he calls his father in Nigeria, and they have kind of a bad connection, but he expresses concern over Abby's change, and his father tries to reassure him, I'm sure everything's fine, and I'll be coming home in a few weeks, so, if you want me to, I can swing by. And things continue to get worse at home. Trying to think of the next incident.
Abby's doing a little counseling. She has a job as a like a pre-marriage counselor for the church, and she's trying to give some pre-marriage advice to a couple. And Issue decides that the husband is really worth fucking. So she starts talking. As soon as Emmett shows up to the meeting, she starts talking about wanting to take the groom upstairs and fuck him and fuck his brains out. And so Emmett actually takes her upstairs, and she beats the shit out of him again. And then she hops on him, and she tries to do that rioting thing again.
Yes, she like a hippity hop.
Mm-hmm. She loves that. Feels good to her. I think the next big episode for her is after that they call a nurse to come by. I think that she's somehow affiliated with the church.
Yeah, I got that impression as well.
This is an old lady. She shows up to the house, and right away Abby starts berating her. She says her name is Mrs. something. And Abby starts saying to her, like, you were never married. That guy, he had sex with you one time and he left you, and you're this old widow, this liar. You're an old maid. And she creates this storm, another one of these storms inside of the room, and basically causes this old woman to have a heart attack. The scene is
and
completely disturbing.
And frankly, the old woman totally deserved the beating. She had it coming.
From lying. She's a liar.
She's annoying. Beat the shit out of her. Good for her.
So, how does Abby end up in the hospital when Emmett does call his father back and say, I need you to come home now. Things have gotten worse.
Yeah, it was after this event.
It was right. They carted off the body. Right.
Yep. Yeah, they called an ambulance. They got rid of the body, and Emmett's having another conversation with their doctor, and the doctor's like, "Look, man, I think that she's crazy. We need to get her into the hospital right away."
Okay.
He's like, "Well, can you take her too, as long as you're here? You know, throw her in the van."
So, right, and we have a clip here of so the deacon does fly home from Nigeria quickly, and Emmett comes to visit Abby in the hospital, sorry. And she's being really sweet with the nurse and saying, "Oh, thank you, honey," and blah, blah. And then, do we have a clip of this, Kyle, when she changes, like, on a dime?
Oh, we do, yeah.
You're welcome. Have a pleasant weekend, and you rest.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Dr. Haley, Dr. Marlon Haley.
She's very nice, isn't she?
I want to thank you for calling that motherfucking father of yours. And when he arrives, give him my worst regards and tell him I'll be waiting for him.
I love...
Hold on. Dance little.
I love that laugh. It sounds to me like, I'm a huge Twin Peaks fan. It sounds to me like Bob and the little man from another place put together one voice.
Totally. Nice.
I love that demon voice.
So do I. Should we mention who that is?
Yeah, would you?
Yeah, so voice work was done by Bob Holt. He did a ton of voice work. Just looking over real quickly some of his stuff. Bedknobs and Broomsticks, The Houndcats, The Lorax, lots of Dr. Seuss stuff. Charlotte's Web, Addams Family. He in Gremlins, he was the voice of Mogwai, the little cute guy. Tons of Hanna-Barbera cartoons, all kinds of stuff. So, Pink Panther,
Darth Vader. No.
Flash Gordon. His list is quite extensive. The Smurfs, Dungeons and Dragons cartoon.
He does great
Dungeons
work.
and Dragons. Uni.
Snorks.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot about the Snorks.
And he did voice work on the Incredible Hulk animated series in the early 80s, which was a pretty cool show.
So glad that I remember the Snorks now. Thanks for that.
You're welcome.
The production, I think, in this at least the audio production and like the visuals in this movie, I thought were really well done.
Yeah,
For a terrible movie, they were very well done.
I like the audio a little better than some of the camera work's pretty. I mean, in the scene to scene, the camera work's pretty unremarkable and banal. When they do some special shots, it's kind of interesting. You know, there's kind of some strobe effects where they're trying to show Eshu, like they're trying to show Abby as Eshu to kind of show who's really in control and what's going on, but it's not very effective as far as editing wise.
Yeah. Even when it's bad, it's coherent. You know what's going on, and it looks and it quality wise, it's pretty on par with just about everything that was made right in that era.
Right.
I mean, there was a certain quality of film that was used in the 70s that just doesn't look good.
Yeah.
It just doesn't. I'm sorry.
Yeah. I mean, again,
I've always blamed the hair, but I don't think that's it all. It's all the polyesters reflecting the lights in weird ways. I don't know.
Yeah, there was some aesthetic abomination going on in the 70s.
Yeah. Well, if you are a fan of incredibly long plane landing scenes and plane taxiing scenes,
Que bella.
and people inside of airports, you are going to love the return of Bishop Williams, because that plane landing scene was epic.
Yeah. Well, they went all the way out to the airport, Kyle. You think they're not going to use that footage they shot?
Don't. It's not. This isn't. Yeah. Don't blink for 5 minutes. So you miss it.
Yeah. Not since The Stabilizer have I been so incredibly moved by watching a plane land in the beginning of the film. So now that the Deacon is in town, things are going to move along real quick here to the end, because he's like, as Kyle mentioned, he's an exorcist as well.
Right. Well, quickly is relative, but yeah.
Yeah.
And a paleontologist.
Yeah.
Because we're only about halfway through the movie at this point, but
we can fly through this.
No, I'm just saying. I think there's a few more incidences where she yells and stuff, but yeah, until we're coming to the climax now.
Abby confronts the Deacon. She lets herself out of the hospital, and she doesn't check herself out like you or I would and sign out the papers and get taken in a wheelchair to the car. She just yanks some cords out of her arm or whatever and shoves people down, knocks people over, and just splits. And she shows up at the house, and Emmett and his father are there, and there's a little showdown. I forget exactly what happens, but she reveals who she is now. And she also, I think, trashes the house. With a storm, she blows like a chef robe or whatever, like through a window, and all the lights are out, so they have to use candlelight in the house the rest of the time. And then she goes out to have sex with everyone she can. And Emmett runs after her. He commits a carjacking. I was thinking, like, when I was watching that, like, why they should give ministers a badge, or some kind of, like, I need this car, man. I have to commandeer this vehicle. But so he takes the lady's car and he's going out looking for her, and her brother is now looking, and we get an explanation from the Deacon. He explains to Emmett what's going on, and now everyone knows what we've known since the first 3 minutes.
Yoruba legend reveals that the god Eshu pushed aside his fellow Orishas to capture the powers of sexuality with which he destroys his enemies.
What the hell are you talking about? What does all this have to do with Abby? And all this mess?
Yes, quite unintentionally, I released the spirit of Eshu while I was in Africa. And as a part of his campaign to destroy me, he now has control over your sister. Now, we've got to fight to free the spirit of Abby tonight. And to be successful, we have to do it together. If her physical and mental bodies have not been too damaged, I think that she can emerge from this possession relatively unharmed. It's just a matter of how fast we can find her.
I have to correct myself. I think I said that he explained it to Emmett, but I meant Cass. Sorry.
Here's a little fun fact about Eshu, though. Did you know he's got some other names, too?
Go on.
Cialis is one of them. Viagra. I'm sure there's more, but
so we get to see some cool club scenes and hear some really great music while Abby's out carousing. So one of the people that she boinks is the Undertaker that she threw out a window, or knocked through a window when she had a coughing fit in church. So he sees her, and they kind of start chatting up, and he says he's going to take her home, but she's interested in doing something else. And I think we have a little bit of that.
You comfortable?
Oh, not as comfortable as I'm going to be.
Well, you do want to go home, don't you?
Now, I never said that, Russell. That was your little silly idea.
Well, what's your idea?
Oh, no. Jesus, you have to be so damn religious about everything. Well, a long way home is pretty fucking short.
Just give me a minute to catch my breath. I need to stop thinking about your husband.
That creep, forget him. He's not my husband.
Why did you do that?
'Cause I damn well felt like it.
Jesus.
Don't you turn your head. No one can help you now. I told you killing is your nature. You're mine now. Mine! All mine!
So that's weird.
Mm-hmm.
So if you have to
Is that
visualize,
when they're hotboxing in the car? Is that correct?
Yes, they're in Russell's hearse and parked in a discreet little out of the way place, and then smoke bombs start going off inside the car and under the car. And when she said something like, "Don't you turn your head from me," or something like that, she grabbed his head, and it looked like she was going to snap his neck. I don't know if she did. And she's just riding him, his lifeless corpse, or what the hell is going on there? But it was very weird.
I think what was probably more likely is that she was put like her knees on his shoulders and was making him slap himself. That's what she's really into.
Yeah. Then she goes, and I love that she goes back to like 2 or 3 bars and just kind of gets people to hump. She hooks up with a white guy who looks like a porn star, but he's really annoying because he keeps doing this terrible, it's not terrible, I guess, but this W.C. Fields impression, so you get to hear him flirt with her in that very unawkward way of a nerd, you know. I think he's saying something like, "Let's go upstairs, my little chickadee," or whatever, my little chickadee. And so they go upstairs. I don't know if she kills him or what. Does she ever kill anybody?
I don't know that she does.
We don't even know. Like, is Russell okay?
She's just sleeping around as far as I can, or slapping them around anyway. I think that Yushu also must be the god of low self-esteem, is what I assume.
That's great. I'm going to add that to the Wikipedia page right now. All right. So, meanwhile, Emmett is still out there with a stolen car. Actually, he's returned the stolen car at this point. Cass has found him, and Cass explains to him what's going on. Got a little short clip there of that, I think.
Looks like it's going to be a long night.
What did my father have to say?
To call him when we find her. He said something about this demon in Abby is something he accidentally released, and now it's out to destroy him.
What?
Come on, we got a lot of bars to hit. Come on, man.
We also, I mentioned earlier that these movies always have such great soundtracks. We get to see an extended dance scene in one of the clubs and hear some great music while, I don't know whether Cass and Emmett are looking for her or while she's stalking new sexual prey, but let's give a listen to some of that.
But everyone do yourself a favor out there and stand up and get ready to boogie.
Yeah, because you're not going to be able to sit still.
Yeah, no way.
So
the clothes
good.
were so bad, but the music was so good.
Yeah.
It's hard not to feel like a badass when that song is playing.
I know, it's kind of like your own personal theme song that you just have in your head when you're strutting around down the street. Unfortunately, people just see you and think you're a moron, but it feels so cool in your head.
It's worth it. It is worth it.
Yeah, definitely. So let's, I think we're in the last act here, guys.
We are.
Pretty much. It's the exorcism time. Go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
I was actually gonna ask just a question of how she meets with the bishop, or how he corners her exactly. I'm trying to remember. So go ahead, Kyle.
Well, that's a great question, Scott.
I'm just drawing a blank.
They track her down. Cass. It's worth noting that Cass is a detective, so he knows people on the streets. And they find out that Abby has been kind of frequenting the club that we heard this music from. So Emmett calls up Dad, and Dad is basically saying like, hey, like we need to do this now, and we're going to do this in the middle of the club. And so meanwhile,
I thought they did it at a pizza parlor.
Meanwhile, Abby has decided that one guy is not enough for her, and now she wants to try two guys. So she picks up these couple of dudes at the bar, and then is confronted by Cass and Emmett. And of course, the two guys are like, yeah, tonight's our lucky night. We're going to take this gal home. So they're putting up a major fight. And if it wasn't for Cass pulling out his gun and firing off a couple rounds in the club, the place would have been even more crazy. So fortunately, those shots kind of put everybody at ease when they ran out the door, the exact opposite of what you would think would happen. And then it's, Dad's like, hey, let's get it on. He's got on his sacred robe, his exorcism robe.
Dashiki.
Dashiki. It is a dashiki, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because he's got to bring it. He's got to bring his full game.
If you don't know what that is, think Queen Latifah. Right? That's what we're talking about?
There was a small period of time where
UNITY.
Where I think
the UNITY phase. UNITY.
Kyle, proceed.
Yeah, but for a person who I never heard a term for the garb myself, so that's how I would describe it for anyone who doesn't know what that term is. So anyway, Kyle.
Yeah, so it's exorcism go time. Ishu is releasing the storm. He's bringing the storm. It's really a battle of wills between these two guys. We have Emmett and Cass, who are being instructed by the bishop on how to hold her as they start to go through this whole process of exorcising this demon. And Scott, I'd actually like you to talk a little bit about what it takes to free a demon. I know you've done this a couple times and you have a lot more experience with it. So if you could kind of talk about the process of demon freeing, I'd love your perspective on this.
Well, bells are good. Paprika. I know, sounds weird. You should definitely have some sort of log to put it in. That's just a given, though, right? Preferably,
from whence it came.
Yeah, sure. A log from whence it came. When they all come from logs, everyone knows that. So don't fuck with logs. So and then her eyebrows get really big. Am I right? She gets the Ishu's eyebrows for a little while? That's kind of like the only physical change that I remember seeing.
Seems like
her
there's
eyebrows get really dense, or she foams.
Yeah, I was gonna say she foams at the mouth a bit. Her eyebrows kind of get. Yeah, she kind of is physically taking on the characteristics of Eshu.
Right.
And
yeah.
And we have the classic, if you've seen any kind of exorcism movie, the whole thing where the demon tries to trick you, and they're saying don't listen to her, and she's saying, Emmett, let me go, please. Emmett, honey, I'm okay now. That whole
and then
deception thing.
That's when you got to remember to sprinkle the Old Spice.
Yes.
I don't know, take the cap off and give it a good shake. Yeah.
So, yeah, what else happens? So there's wind blowing around. Everything's going crazy. Yep. A disco ball swings like a wrecking ball into a full shelf of liquor behind the bar.
So sad.
I think we have a clip of some of the destruction that it takes to get this thing out of her.
It is done.
It's beating. She's alive.
And I got to say, if I was, the bishop or whatever, I would have been like, it would have been really helpful if they wouldn't have put the disco ball on that long rope.
I know, I love that. So, yeah, I know.
I mean, that's a really ridiculously long rope.
It's like 6 feet long. I thought the same thing.
It was pretty awesome.
So then, everything's okay. We cut to the epilogue, and Abby and Emmett are being taken to the airport and dropped off by her mom, and they're going to go away on a honeymoon type of thing and start anew.
Mm-hmm. Just like that.
There's no stinger, was there? Like, there was no sort of like little like tease at the end, like, oh, it's not over.
No.
Yeah, it seems wrong.
A little too happy for me.
Yeah.
All right. Let's do it, guys. Kyle.
All right.
Judge, jury, executioner.
Well, I realize that I've seen a few different movies in this genre, and I have to say that this is my first horror experience of the blaxploitation films. I was actually kind of impressed with the way that they were able to put this thing together so fast and without a lot of money. To me, it's not a good movie. I mean, it was obviously made to quickly cash in on the fame of another movie. And not only that, it was driven to a very specific audience. And there were times where I felt like they were just trying to take advantage of that and make this into the cheapest movie possible. Having said that, I enjoyed watching this. I think it's fun. I think that that I want to see a lot more cool blaxploitation movies. I've kind of danced outside of the perimeter of this genre, and I want more. I think this is a cool movie.
All right. Well, I'm not going to go quite as far as Kyle did there. I'm not, chomping at the bit to see more of these movies, frankly. I liked it, though. It was more coherent than you could really hope for. The production values are very 70s. The story's derivative, but enjoyable. It makes sense even when it's stupid. The acting's pretty fun. The special effects are hilarious. The voice, I enjoyed it. I thought it was a good movie. It wasn't a good movie. It was a terrible movie, but it was cool. And I would recommend it if you're a horror fan. Yeah, you'll like this one. It's a good one. Even though there's nothing really horrific, and it's a sex god, and there's no nudity, and there's no death. Really, this movie should be terrible. Think about it. I don't even know if there's any cursing in it. Maybe a few. Oh wow.
Oh, Abby's filthy.
Abby does.
That's true. Well, that gives it a cool for me then.
Okay. So. Yeah, I'm a huge fan of this genre and this era of filmmaking. I can see why people like Tarantino and Samuel L. Jackson are such big fans and cheerleaders for him. For me, great music, little time capsule. There's some things that are campy or kitschy to us, some of the clothing and some of the the jive talk, whatever. I'll watch pretty much any blaxploitation movie, and this is no exception. I think that this one, I'm having the same reaction that kind of Scott did, where it's like, now that I look back on it, it's like it shouldn't have been as enjoyable as it was because nothing happened. There was no boobs, there was no blah blah, but it was fun, and so I have to give it a cool, and I have to warn Scott that Kyle and I are already planning the next movie. We're going to space out the blaxploitation movies, but there are more coming. Sucker.
Sweet.
So you're gonna have to deal with them.
All right. I'm just it's like when we watch any movie though. I'm not chomping at the bit to see anything from any genre that we watch.
Why are you on this show?
Oh,
I'm always excited to watch whatever we're going to watch. I have a great time doing these things.
Even Supervan. Let's do Supervan again.
Let's do the sequel.
Supervan.
Yeah.
Supervan. I like it.
It's time for the antidote. Does anybody have any suggestions for something that a bummed listener says, I didn't like that? Anything free and ready and easy? I don't have anything. I can tell you that if you go onto YouTube and search blaxploitation movie, there's a ton of these in their entirety on Netflix. On YouTube. So you can just sit down and you can watch The Candy Tangerine Man. You can watch, I think you can watch, what's that Jim Kelly kung fu movie, Kyle? Oh, Black Belt Jones. I mean, you can just build a queue out of these things on there. There's no shortage of them, and they're almost all entertaining. Probably more entertaining than Abby, I would say.
Yeah,
because you get to see some gunfights and some chase scenes and some boobs and stuff. So, if you're into that,
boobs, that would be great.
Yeah, I'm really interested in where to start next. I have a small list of stuff that I came across when I was doing some Abby research. So if you have any recommendations for good blaxploitation movies, please send them to us via Twitter or out on the blog. I would love to have some more recommendations.
Yeah. So we can be found online, by the way, at that'scoolthatstrash.com. And our Twitter account is at @that's_trash. So next up for us in 2 weeks, we'll be talking about Deadly Prey, a sub-Rambo action movie, and you're going to hear a little clip of it right now.
Take a couple of the men and go get another runner. A mean one.
In Nam, he was the perfect killer. Now, he'll have to prove it again.
Run. You're gonna die.
Mike Danton is Deadly Prey.
Danton?
You know him?
Know him. I trained him.
They turned the killer loose on themselves. Troy Donahue, Fritz Matthews, and Cameron Mitchell star in a film so violent it cannot be rated. Viewer caution advised. Killer and teacher face off in a final battle. Only one can survive in Deadly Prey.
Hey everybody, thanks for listening. For That's Cool, That's Trash, I'm Matt Howell.
I'm Kyle.
Yeah, I'm Scott.
And you guys out there, you stay trashy. Issue. That's cool.
That's trash.
It's garbage, folks.
I'm not your hoe.